Welcome back to Deen and Dharma. I'm your host, Shaima. We live in a world that is terrified of the quiet. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded by stimuli. The ping of a notification, the drone of the morning news, the endless scroll of opinions, tragedies, and triumphs on our screens. We often talk about finding ourselves in modern spirituality as if we're objects hidden in a crowded, messy room. We frantically search under the clutter of our daily lives, looking for a core identity. But what if we aren't lost? What if we are just distracted? What if our true essence isn't missing, but simply drowned out by the noise of a world that demands our constant, relentless participation? Today, we are exploring the profound, transformative power of solitude. We'll look at how the Islamic concept of Khalwa, which is spiritual seclusion, and the Buddhist practice of Viveka, which is secluded awareness, provide a foundation for true, unshakable wisdom. If you feel like the world is demanding more of you than you have to give, if you feel stretched thin across 1,000 digital and physical obligations, this episode is your invitation to step back. It's an invitation to reclaim your center. During this episode, we are going to dive deep into what it means to be truly alone, not as a state of loneliness, but as a state of profound connection. And at the very end of our journey today, I will guide you through a meditation designed to help you transition from the noise of the external world into the quiet sanctuary of your own heart. Take a deep breath. Let the noise fade. Let's begin. In the Islamic tradition, we often speak of dhikr, which translates into the remembrance of God. We are encouraged to remember the divine in our daily actions, in our speech, and in our hearts. But Khalwa, which means seclusion, retreat, or stepping away from the masses, is the necessary vessel for that remembrance to truly take root and blossom. Think of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Before the revelation of the Quran began, he did not find prophecy in the bustling markets of Mecca. He did not find it while engaging in the politics or the commerce of his day. He found it in the Cave of Hira. He wasn't just taking a break from the city, he was engaging in a practice known as tahannuth, which is a dedicated period of deep contemplation and detachment from worldly affairs. He would retreat to his small rocky cave high up on a mountain, stripping away the roles he played in society, the merchant, the husband, the community member. In that cave, he was simply a soul sitting before the vastness of the cosmos, waiting. The Quran reminds us in Surah Al-Mulk, which is chapter 67 of the Quran titled The Sovereignty, verse 13, quote, "And conceal your speech or publicize it. Indeed, he is knowing of that within the chest." End quote. When we are in the crowd, we almost always act for the audience. We curate our words, our expressions, and even our thoughts to fit the expectations of the people around us. Our ego, our nafs, feeds on this interaction. It thrives on being seen, validated, praised, or even pitied. But in Khalwa, the audience disappears. The mirror of society is taken away. Imam al-Ghazali, one of the greatest theologians and mystics in Islamic history, wrote extensively about uzla, which is physical withdrawal, and khalwa, which is spiritual seclusion. He argued that solitude is a medicine. When a person is sick with the diseases of the heart, arrogance, envy, and the desire for status, the cure is to step away from the environments that trigger these ailments. Imam al-Ghazali taught that in solitude, you are forced to face your own spiritual poverty. Without people to distract you, the internal noise becomes deafening. You hear your own anxieties. You hear your own resentments. But if you can sit through the initial discomfort, the noise begins to settle. The husks of false ego begin to crack. The insight here is profound. Solitude isn't about running away from people, it's about running towards the truth. Al-Haq. It is in the cave of your own life, the quiet mornings before the house wakes up, the moments of reflection on a solitary walk, the quiet stillness on a prayer mat in the dead of night, that you meet your actual self. You are not meant to be a permanent inhabitant of the noise. You are meant to be a witness to the divine, and witnessing requires a quiet heart. The mystic poet Rumi once said, quote, "Silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation." End quote. Khalwa is the practice of learning that language. It is tuning out the static of the world so you can finally hear the whisper of the divine. As we turn to the Dharma, Buddhism offers a striking and beautiful parallel to this Islamic concept of seclusion. There's a famous text in the early Buddhist scriptures called the Rhinoceros Horn Sutra. It advocates for the life of a solitary wanderer. The Buddha said, quote, "If you do not find a wise companion, wander alone like a tusker in the wilds." End quote. In the Buddhist tradition, the concept of seclusion is Viveka. But the Buddha, with his profound psychological insight, categorized Viveka into 3 distinct layers. It is not just about locking yourself in a room. The first layer is Kaya Viveka, which is physical seclusion. This is stepping away from the crowd, going to the forest, the root of a tree, or simply an empty room. It is a physical removal of sensory overload. The second layer is Sita Viveka, which is mental seclusion. You are sitting alone in a forest, but if your mind is replaying an argument you had yesterday or anxiously planning what you will do tomorrow, you are not secluded. Your mind is still crowded. Sita Viveka is the practice of gathering the mind, pulling it away from unwholesome thoughts and centering it in the present moment through practices like tranquility and meditation. The final and highest layer is Upadhi Viveka, which is seclusion from the acquisitions or the roots of suffering. This is complete freedom from clinging. It is the realization of non-attachment. Often our feeling of being lost comes from deep emotional codependency. We rely on external validation. We rely on the opinion of others, the accumulation of wealth, or the chaos of the news cycle to tell us who we are and that we matter. We construct an identity and ego out of other people's perception. To wander like a, quote, tusker in the wilds, end quote, is to become fiercely independent and self-assured in your spiritual practice. It means cultivating a mind that isn't swayed by the muddy waters of worldly conditions, praise and blame, gain and loss, pleasure and pain. The great Thai forest monk, Ajahn Chah, used to say that the mind in its natural state is like a still forest pool. If you sit quietly by it, all sorts of wonderful, rare animals will come to drink from it. But if you are constantly throwing stones into the pool, the water becomes muddy and the animals are scared away. Wisdom in the Buddhist view is the clarity that emerges when you stop throwing stones into your own mind. It is what happens when you stop borrowing your identity from the crowd. When you sit in true Viveka, you realize that you aren't lonely. You are gathering the vast, boundless resources of your own spirit. You are observing the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, and realizing that you are not bound by them. You are the silent watcher. When we bring the Deen and Dharma together, when we hold Khalwa, spiritual seclusion, in one hand and Viveka, secluded awareness, in the other, we see a powerful synthesis. Both traditions are pointing towards a universal human necessity, the need to disconnect from the horizontal world of human affairs to connect with the vertical realm of ultimate divine reality. From Islam, we learn that solitude is an act of tawakkul, which is radical trust and surrender to God. When you step away from your work, your socializing, your endless striving to secure your own future, you are saying to the Creator, I trust that the world will continue spinning without my intervention for this moment. I surrender my need to be seen by the world so I can be entirely seen by you. Solitude becomes an act of intense devotion. It is stripping away the illusion of self-reliance. From Buddhism, we learn that solitude is an act of ultimate mindfulness and liberation. It is the courageous act of observing the ego without identifying with it. When the distractions are gone, all of your fears, desires, and boredoms rise to the surface. Buddhism teaches us not to fight these feelings, but to watch them arise and pass away, recognizing their impermanence. To integrate this insight, wisdom is not about accumulating more information. We live in the information age, yet we are starved for wisdom. We don't need more facts, we need more clarity. And wisdom is the state of the heart that remains steady regardless of the weather of the world. Imagine your heart, your consciousness, as a glass of water scooped from a rushing river. When you are in the crowd, engaged in the friction of daily life, the water is stirred up. The sand and silt are swirling around. The water is opaque. You can't see through it. When you sit in solitude, you place the glass down on a sturdy table. You don't have to do anything to the water to make it clear. You simply have to leave it alone. Gradually, gravity takes over. The sediment settles to the bottom. The water becomes transparent. Wisdom isn't a magical substance you pour into the glass. Wisdom is what you discover when the water is clear enough to see the bottom. It is the practice of active stillness. Whether you call it the purification of the heart in Islam or the clearing of the mind in Buddhism, the mechanism is the same. Step back, be still, and let the sediment settle. To close our time today, I want to move out of theory and into practice. Wherever you are, unless you are driving, I invite you to pause. If you are safely able to do so, gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs completely. And exhale through your mouth with a soft sigh. Let's do that again. Inhale deeply, drawing the air down into your belly. And exhale, releasing the tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your forehead. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Don't force it, just watch it. Right now, in this exact moment, there's nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing you need to accomplish. The emails can wait. The news will still be there. For the next few minutes, you are entirely off the hook. Imagine the boundaries of your physical body. Feel the weight of your body pressing down into the chair or the floor. Feel the pull of gravity. You are grounded. You are safe. Now I want you to visualize that glass of river water we spoke about. Imagine that the water represents your mind. Right now, it might be swirling with thoughts, to-do lists, anxieties, memories. That is completely okay. That is the nature of the mind. But right now, you are placing that glass on a sturdy table. You are sitting still. With every breath you take, imagine the sand and the silt inside the glass beginning to slowly, gently drift towards the bottom. Inhale, the water is settling. Exhale, the water is clearing. If a thought pops into your head, a worry about tomorrow, a conversation from yesterday, do not fight it. Fighting it is like shaking the glass. Simply notice the thought. Say to yourself, thinking. And then gently, kindly bring your focus back to your breath. Inhale, watch the thought drift down. Exhale, return to the clear water. In the Islamic tradition of muraqabah or watchfulness, we bring our attention to the physical heart, sitting quietly in the chest. Inwardly, direct your attention to the center of your chest. Beneath the ribs, beneath the physical beating muscle, imagine a quiet, luminous space. This is your sanctuary. This is the place within you that the noise of the world cannot touch. It is eternally quiet. It is intimately connected to the divine. Rest your awareness in this quiet space in your chest. There's no audience here. There's nothing to prove. There's no identity to uphold. You are simply a soul breathing. Feel the deep relief of not having to be anyone right now. Feel the profound peace of your own company. You are whole. You are complete right here in the silence. As we prepare to end this meditation, hold on to this feeling of the clear water. Hold on to this quiet space in your chest. Know that you can return to this sanctuary at any moment of the day. It does not disappear when you open your eyes. It is always there, waiting beneath the noise. Take one more deep, intentional breath in, filling your body with fresh air, and exhale completely. When you are ready, gently wiggle your fingers and toes and slowly open your eyes, bringing this stillness back into the room with you. You are the cultivator of your own inner life. The world will always try to draw you outward. It will always demand your attention, your energy, and your reaction. But your strength, your wisdom, and your truest self will always be found in the quiet center. Thank you for sharing your time and your silence with me today. If this episode brought you peace, please consider sharing it with someone who might need a moment of quiet in their life. I am Shaima, and this is Deen and Dharma. May your days be purposeful, and may your quiet moments be filled with deep revelation. Peace be with you.